Okay, so we back. This is the 25th of February, so it's like the fourth week of February, middle of the week. And we're still working on the uh, solar ground mount for a 27 kilowatt of panels and about 30 kilowatts of batteries. Need a lot more batteries, but they tend to be expensive. And what we're going to do is we got inverters that turn PV into 220. Three of them will charge batteries, and four of them are for net metering. So rather than have batteries, we paid another $120 for the difference in the inverter, and it'll net meters. But the big thing is it stores any excess that would have been battery charging on the grid. Now they don't pay you here for the electric you put on the grid. They give you a credit against your bill, so it's like a battery. You put it on there, and then you get it back. There's no charge for what they store on the grid for you, but they don't pay you whatever. I don't know what the period is. Could be a month, but when it's over, it's you don't get anything back. But you can cut your bill. If we got our bill combined amongst the various meters that we're paying across the Philippines, then we could really save some money. But as it is, it's just for this one property, and it'll pay itself off on that. Where's my little pointer thing here? Okay. What we're looking at here is the perimeter was where we left off. It's dug down 6 inches deeper than the pad. Now we're going to have a wall across here from one side to the other, and our power room goes over here, and fish feed storage is in the lower right corner here on the screen. And we have to have a wall to separate the this part of the solar panels from the power room. And rather than putting the power room off the back of the slab in the middle and having two more rows of these concrete columns, we're going to slant the roof on the power room and let the water drain right in under the array, because it's going to run off the back here anyway. And that'll give us some rinse water to clean up under here to wash dirt and stuff away. It'll pull some mud here and there, but generally it's going to be to give us a slanted roof, so we only have to have 6-inch stands under the rack for the panels. So this is going to come over, and then we're going to go left here, like this string is going. Go down here, I think it's 12 feet, and then back in line with the original ditch. And that gives us a room here in the middle between the power room and the feed storage room. A wall to put an entrance, basically a door into this thing. And there'll be a vent window. There'll be a wall that you can't see the foot or two. It's one here and one down here at the other end. And that's to let air go through. It keeps it dried up under here. The slab will have some ventilation. But the other thing is it keeps pressure from building up that could lift the panels off of the racks. I mean, if air's coming in, it's got a downstream side for it to go out. This is some of the rebars that go on the in the floor. This will be for the north side wall, which is much taller on the power room side. But the rest of the 20 feet goes out across the floor. There'll be some that are shorter over here on the left. We're calling these blue bars and the other ones red bars. But we didn't tint these bars yet. This is the first coat of paint. So the first coat of paint's always white. And then that way the tint, which is the part you see, will not take near as much red. It's still paint. It saves buying that much in white because you're putting that much in red. And let's see what's next. He's starting to dig this offset in the wall that separates the feed room from the lower part of the solar array. The original panels for the solar array really don't go much past this this dividing wall. Half a row of panels is over top the power room. The rest of it's for adding panels later on when we can afford them. Here he's dug a little farther. He's made the turn so you can see where he's headed. This is kind of in the dark. They took it late. This is just starting to fill some bags. And he's digging along. That's Benji. There's actually Benji and Boyette were both digging on this up to this point. And Al too, but Al started to fill bags. So now it looks like Benji's doing this. And Boyette's going to be working on a perimeter form, repurposing some many times used forms. They just keep getting smaller. Eventually the plywood disappears. And he's down here now to where he's only got a little bit left. This is Al. We'll show you later how he fills these bags without a helper. And he's going to use this wheelbarrow, the new toy. And let's see, there's 71 bags of concrete. 214 bags for the floor and footer. So if it's 214, that would be 428 bags of sand and 642 bags, I guess, of rock, gravel, 3/4 inch stone. We use 3/4 inch stone because we go by the 3 bar diameters distance between the rebar and the form, and 2 pieces of 3/4 inch stone can't bind up between the form and the rebar and stop the concrete from wrapping around the rebars and stuff. Keeps you from having honeycomb on the surface. You still have to rod it down. We didn't rod down or vibrate the main floor in the house because it was a slab, and the walking on it, and when you walk on the rebar, it jostles it and stuff. And we didn't need to do anything on that. But the walls, all the walls were vibrated, and we got really good surface finish. I kind of think our surface finish is better than Texas Filipinos. It wasn't flawless, but it was close. Our thing with there wasn't a surface finish was the fact that we didn't spend a huge amount of time on lining the individual forms with each other. So we have 1/4 inch steps here and there where the forms are not lined up. And we didn't know we could get the plastic spacers out, so we went ahead and rendered the thing. You don't need to render pour concrete. You just need skim coat. I mean, we didn't render the ceilings. They're skim coated and look just as good as the walls. And the ceilings are actually rougher than the walls on form misalignment. So I wouldn't recommend rendering a poured concrete house. It's a waste of money. And it's you can use textured something or like knockdown plaster, or like they do in India where they use like 3 or 4 fingers and they make these swirls. Anything to upset the surface will get rid of that echo effect. And the other thing is if you're the kind of person that has a lot of wall art like paintings, furniture like stuffed furniture like couches and chairs, anything that's not a hard surface, it reflects all the sound waves and that gets rid of a lot of the echo. But if you like the big open modern room with very little furniture and slick walls, it's going to sound like a cave. And the hard surface of the concrete will do that. You have to put something on the walls. And if you have a hollow block wall and you render it, but you don't skim coat it, if you leave the render just the way it comes from the rendering, that breaks up the surface enough that you really don't have much echo problem. But as soon as you put that skim coat on there, you're no better off than we are. Now, we don't have echo, but it has nothing to do with the surface finishes of the rooms. What it's got to do with is the fact that our walls aren't parallel. The rooms are trapezoidal shaped. So the two long walls, the 24 or 5-foot walls that go from the center out, from the atrium out to the outside, and then there's a 24.5-foot wall across the end that's got the outside window in it. None of those meet where they can reflect off the opposite side. Now, the long wall with the window, it would reflect, except that most of the end of the short end of the trapezoid is a door. So the sound would just go straight on through it. Can't reflect back. So we haven't got any echo effect. We made videos when we were there where we could actually talk and walk around videos. They're much better than the photo, what do you call these, slideshows? Because you can mention a lot more things you see while you're walking around. But you'll notice that there's no echoes in those videos. And we didn't have a cat fur muff running around the microphone. Actually, it was the same camera I'm using right now in the den at the house we live in the States. Anyway, we're going to show you how he fills those bags here in a bit. We're getting down to the last of the digging, and I'll bet they're glad. The reason we took this thing on while we're not there is, one, they know how to do every part of this because they've already done it on the house. And it takes up a lot of time to move dirt by hand. And we needed work to do to keep everybody employed so they can put food on the table. So we have a core crew. We're going to work them, or we're going to pay them not to work, but we're going to keep them available for when we get back. So this takes a lot of hand labor if you're leveling ground with a pick and a shovel. And also, it was coming off of rainy season, which ends in like October. So I figure October, November, December, we would work on this. But we got involved in late season rains that made it soggy as a devil out here. And we had interior bathrooms to put walls up for. So they were doing mostly interior bathrooms, and they couldn't get but a day or two a week on this. So it's drug on past the end of December. We're into 4 or 5 weeks past our target date for pouring concrete. But as long as we get it in before May, we're good to go. So we may drop off of this again and work on other things. But if we get this slab down, we can put the walls and the other stuff up anytime. It's like, I don't know if you can see it in here, just off screen. This is a floor for another shrimp tank. We got the floor poured and the rebar sticking up to start the walls. But we didn't bother putting the walls down because we had to pay for all the materials for concrete, and we needed it to save for labor. So we're doing this while the ground wasn't bone dry like trying to go through granite. Sometimes a pick won't even hardly nick it up. And we're using a lightweight pickaxe here. It's probably got a 4-pound head on it, maybe 5, I don't know. But it's not the real big one. You can swing this this thing here hard as you want, as long as you want. It doesn't tire you out like an 8-pound sledgehammer. I don't know whose finger that is, but it's in my picture. This is more digging from a different angle. Probably a different day. People don't realize they're taking a picture of the same area because they didn't take the pictures the previous day. Or maybe they're just trying to show progress. Well, he's pickaxed up the last piece of that, so. Okay, we got a ditch. Finally. And off we go. Okay, this is Nane. I forgot he was working every day just about. He's in the dirty kitchen. This is a separate little room from the house you can see in the background. Past the banana tree there, that next wall, that's the side of the house. The difference on the dirty kitchen is it's slip form construction. Rather than pour a full-length wall with a beam on top, we poured perimeter rings, the shape of the building. First line up is 4 feet. And then because the forms overlap after that, they're 3.5 feet to the lift. So this is 4 foot 3.5 and 3.5. Same depth as the cistern. Of course, the dirty kitchen is smaller than the cistern. It's about 6 feet narrower, similar length, but 6 feet narrower. And we're either going to use jalousie windows, or better yet, we want them hinged at the top where we can tilt them out. But we're going to have glass windows in the dirty kitchen. It won't be a secure area like the rest of the house with all the heavy window grills. But it'll have windows so they can work in the rain. Anyway, he's taken the forms that were for the spokes on the spider beam. The one that right in front of him on the left, it's really seen better days. I couldn't tell you how many times that one's used. But the next one out here in the middle, one of them looks like it may have never been used except for the spider beam. And some of those were used just for spacers to stack sacks of cement and stuff in the house. Different things. Blocking doors so dogs and stuff can't run around in the house. Just odd jobs. There's one over here on the side wall. It's been some kind of a chute to slide concrete down from what I see on the end of it. Anyway, he's turning this stuff into perimeter forms. He's got to form up 1/3 of that slab, an end and 1/3 of the way down the sides, and then the partitions for the footer. And that'll go in before they put the plastic down that goes underneath the rebar, so that cement and sand doesn't wash. No, it's not cement and water doesn't wash out of the bottom of the slab right into the dirt. Our dirt is so hard it really doesn't penetrate it much, but it's just a bad practice to pour it right on dirt. So we're going to put tarpaulin fabric down because we can't buy plastic in the Philippines. It's illegal to possess it in the Philippines. Well, that's Al, and he's got some... Oh, okay, what we're doing here is he's sacking up the current pile of sand, because our next order of materials will be sand. And we want to bag up until we can count the sand. And we have to have... well, 142 bags for each section. So we want to have a 15% more than that bagged up before we start a pour and carried right to the mixer. So he's going to clean this down, and then he'll rake up what's loose on the ground that he hasn't shoveled. And that way we put our next pile right where this pile was. This particular pile of rock, I think there's another pile of rock by the gate. I think we got 2 truckloads. Comes on a, I guess it's a 5-axle dump truck. Big long thing, but it does tilt and dump out. It doesn't have to be shoveled over the side like the smaller dump trucks. This one is rated at 42 cubic meters, which sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But what do you call him? The agent? The guy between the one that owns the trucks and hauls and the customer. He's like a dealer, or he gets the truck hired, and what he does is he puts on whatever he can get in the truck, which is usually 42 cubic meters. The truck gets paid by the day. We order like 40 cubic meters, which is a whole truck. He puts 42 in it, and the price of the 2 goes to him. That's his commission. So you can pretty much guarantee that truck is as full as you can put it when it leaves the quarry. Anyway, we're gonna bag up sand here and see how that we have more than 142 bags plus 15%, be another 8 bags or so. And then we can pour one section, and this is scheduled to be replaced Well, tomorrow. This is the 25th. The 26th, I think we're going to do a sand order to make another mound, another 40. Actually, you only get like 38 cubic meters of sand on the same truck. Not sure what the deal is on that, but there's a different amount. Oh, the thing in the back, that's the main part of the house. It's, round windows, round top doors. This is like a spline shape up here at the top that makes the second story a puzzle for earthquakes. It all fits together like a puzzle. Same thing down here, it's all a puzzle. These walls are all set into the wall 3 inches or 2.5 inches, something like that. This beam is 24 tall and 14 inches thick. It was poured with the wall, all one pour. It's got the rebar like it's a beam. It's got the stirrups and all that stuff, just like it's a beam. And the wall's got rebar like a wall, except that the rebars went right up through the beam. We assembled the rebar cages on a stand on the ground on a jig, and 4 guys pick them up and set them. It's number 16 rebar long waist and number 12 stirrups, all by code. But they'll pick it up and they'll lower it down over them bars. I've never been there to see how they managed to do that, but I know that they were all formed up in a pile on the ground. And as we pour a wall section, they put them up there. We wanted it that way if they could do it, and didn't tell them if they couldn't do it, we'd find some other way. And they just went and did it somehow. In any event, these upper ones up here, you can't see the reveal here, but the wall is 7 inches thick. And the columns on the end and the top and the bottom tie beams, so that rectangle, all the beams and wall and the hole with the jamb in it for the window, that's one pour. And then the walls between are just wall. There's no window openings, anything like that. I do think they do have beams on the top and the bottom. I'd have to look in the pictures, but I think they got beams at least on the top. They don't need it, but because you got columns every 5 feet to the next one over here. That should just be a wall. If I had any kind of common sense, I made it just a wall. But they may have put beams on it. We did those. We left the second year with these walls, these 10 walls here poured, and they did the fill-in walls. That was part of the summer job. Okay, this video is getting long. We're going to stop the video, and then we're going to pick up right here looking at these same bags of cement in a bit.